saying this is the Tuesday edition of the Marketplace. Good afternoon again and welcome. Now, some of the country's biggest banks posted mixed financial results for last year. This was contained in the 2017 earnings report by these banks. While some are doing well in terms of strong earnings, others have witnessed sharp declines in their profit levels. Let's get more on these numbers and how they could impact on costs and credit extension.
EcoBank, one of the biggest banks in the country, saw its profit go down by 22% to 253 million Ghana cedis. From the results, it is not clear what might have influenced the decline, because loans advanced went down marginally. Standard Chartered Bank, on the other hand, saw some strong growth in earnings, with profit before tax hitting 422 million cedis after a 22% jump from last year. For Standard Chartered Bank, the growth in earnings was as a result of prudent management of resources. HFC Bank, on the other hand, posted a profit of 36 million from a loss position last year. For a lot of the industry watchers, the challenge with some of the results was mainly due to high loan default rates in the country. The development would impact negatively on credit extension for businesses this year, looking at the numbers posted, as some of the banks would look at ways to recover these bad debt before. This challenge was even evident last year as credit growth went down marginally. The Bank of Ghana, in its latest banking report, put stock of non-performing loans at around 9 billion cedis.
And that was a Business Desk report. Now, entrepreneurship is fast gaining popularity in Ghana, serving as a major source of employment for many young people. However, human resource consultant Ama Jampo is advocating the need for what is termed purposeful entrepreneurship among the youth. Karen Dodu has more in this report.
The unemployment challenge is not only synonymous to Ghana, but across the entire globe, especially in developing countries. In recent times, many youth are embracing the need to explore their own ventures through entrepreneurship. In Ghana, many opportunities exist within the fashion, food and technology industries and are fertile grounds for employment. However, HR consultant Ama Jampo and CEO of Amdeco is advising young entrepreneurs to aim at solving societal problems with their skills.
Say start with a problem. I mean, we do a lot of workshops and training and advisory work for corporates. I'm a mentor on for example, the Cosmos Innovation Center program. We always start with the problem first. Once you understand problems and look around you, just look around your community, look around your locality, you'll find there are problems that you can think about how best to apply a solution to. Through technology, especially, I'm an advocate for technology. I'm an advocate for women. Women talk to each other, we understand each other's problems. These are all opportunities that you can start with beyond, the funding, which would come on later. But you can do some clever little things to just communicate and solve a problem and, start small and generate income before you then go on to maybe expand in future.
She adds that there is a need for training skills before becoming an entrepreneur.
It's very difficult to get a good pipeline of talent. The attitudes, punctuality, attitudinal issues, even grooming, just, being ready for the workplace. It's for yourself, government is there, but you can't rely on government. Companies are there, you can rely on a job for experience, but you can't really rely on a company for your own personal development. So we're really encouraging independent thought, independent development, and taking charge of all the information that is readily available for you to get to know and understand the real problems, and problems also present the very idea that could be the starting of your startup or idea or company in future.
Amdeco is a business support organization aiming to enroll in 1,000 unemployed graduates in internship programs with partner organizations throughout the country.
Let's now get to one of our major stories for the day. And the bulk oil storage and transportation company BOST has discounted allegations leveled against it by the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana (COPEG), saying BOST has caused financial loss to the state in the sale of crude to a petroleum firm, BB Energy. Reacting to these claims by COPEG on the indiscriminate sale of the 1.8 million barrels of crude, BOST revealed the sale of the parcel of fuel at the discounted rate was to prevent possible financial risks if it had continued to store the amount. Now, Alfred Marte is head of fuel trade at BOST. He addressed a press conference this morning in Accra.
I want to put it on record that it is not out of place in the commodity market to give discount. Secondly, If you are buying anything and you are ready to pay cash, you are ready to do, instead of 90 days, 120 days, you are ready to do early settlement, you can be granted discount because there's value for money. You can invest the money earlier and get returns instead of waiting for the 90 days or 120 days or whatever credit period you have granted. And so giving discount is not out of place in this commodity business. Let me elaborate the issue, how the product came in, because he mentioned again that 1.8 million barrels of product have been sold out. The product that came in came to Bust, of course, Tor facilities on the 2nd February 2017. When the product came in, there was a credit period of 90 days, which is 3 months. So it means that March, April, May, the product should be settled off. The decision that was made to sell the product is somewhere September. So it means that we couldn't pay for the product up to September because the product was locked because Tor had technical issue. The original intention is to refine that product. Because Tor have technical issue, the product couldn't be refined. And we keep postponing until September that a decision has to be made because we cannot keep suppliers' money for that long. They have a reputational issue because if you go to the international market, nobody is willing to trade with you because you are not able to handle your payment terms. If the price increases and you don't have a buyer, what do? How do you sell? You understand? So it doesn't just, it's not logic to say, okay, prices have increased. Yeah, prices might increase, but if nobody has come to buy, who are you going to sell it to? So it's just practically impossible about his accusation. If COPEC is an institution that is claiming to be or have any insight into the business of oil, they should do a lot of good. If you monitor the oil pricing carefully in the global market, it's not crude though, it's a refined product. How many people buy crude in Ghana here? So if you are COPEC, your concentration is refined products. That is first thing. 2, you going out there and attack Bust. We don't control prices in the world. We don't even set prices in Ghana. We don't even sit on the board that determine pricing in Ghana. We are not involved. So if prices are increasing, Bust doesn't come in. Bust's mandate is to ensure that we have the product in the system. It's not about pricing. However, because pricing is key to the populace of Ghanaians, our mandate is to ensure that it's not escalated to a level. However, because we don't have all the products in all the depots, and it's also mean business to some people when the price escalations are high, you see what is happening. The mischief of Dankanamoa, I will not ascribe it to any institution because COPEC is not any institution. You know, it's an individuals. Because an institution will sit down to now analyze what is influencing pricing increases or decreases and see how they can contribute to addressing the situation.
Now, meanwhile, the National Fuel Storage Company Bust has also been reacting to the company's state of indebtedness as well as the level of strategic fuel stock it currently holds with regards to its prime mandate as a storage company.
The issue of Bust being strategic reserve country and why are they doing trading? The oil loses its quality if you keep it over time. So in order to refresh the oil, what do? You sell it. And 2, I don't believe that you have to build a tank farm and say, I'm storing product in there. Keep it 3 months. Employ 500 people. Let them sit 3 months, then they work. Go and sit down 3 months, then they work. In the course of doing your business, you have to make sure the product is available and you will refresh it on constant basis. So it is not an issue of strategic or not strategic. It's a pure business decision to keep refreshing the product so that it doesn't lose its quality. Then your next question is what? I think. The amount of business. Yes. I don't think there's any company in Ghana here who doesn't owe. Every company owes, including your company. Everybody owes. The issue of how much, I think the issue of how much is an issue that both management have to deal with. It's not part of the issue that we are being accused of. It's an issue that when you come as a private person, you want to understand, and maybe you have some investors, you want to, then we can expose the debt in its quantum.
All right, so those were some interesting revelations coming from Alfred Mante, Head of Fuel Trade at the BOST. Let's now get onto the phone lines and get some further reaction from Duncan Amwa, who is the Executive Secretary of COPEC, which first made those allegations against BOST. Now, Duncan, good afternoon. Now, were you impressed with the reaction from BOST?
Indeed. It is quite unfortunate. It is very disheartening. It is quite sad that a once enviable BOST is today headed by such character. I'm quite sorry to describe him such. If you look at some of the questions that even the media there were posing to him concerning the core mandate of BOST, which is to hold strategic stock for the country, he says he doesn't believe we need strategic stock. And yet, the very core mandate, setting up BOST, this is the person, as a fuel trading manager. It is not surprising. Well,
Duncan, he raised technical concerns. He said that keeping a fuel or particular stock for over 3 months will affect, quantity and quality. And so he doesn't
Emmanuel, I would bring you documents, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of advancement in the petrochemical sector. There are enzymes that can preserve fuel to be fresh for between 6 months to 1 year. Every time. You just add enzymes to them. He doesn't know this. And this is a person there as a manager. So you can understand why BOST will be in the state it is today. Again, the question of how much BOST is owing, he's dancing around every company owes. I'm sorry to say, not every company owes.
All right, so let's get into the main questions. The reaction to what the allegations that you raised earlier. Were you satisfied with these?
Indeed, Emmanuel. We were hoping that BOST will come out and say we have not sold the crude. It is there. COPEC would have lied. BOST admits it has sold the crude. BOST equally admits it sold the crude at Donkomi price. Donkomi price. I have evidence of some other previous attempts by some other persons to buy it at premium. Premium. That is benchmark plus something. Plus 2. This time we didn't get benchmark. We sold it at Donkomi. And he sits there to say he has the leverage to give 5% discount. He should find out how much $3 out of 56 is. It is not 5%. That is about 7.88%. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. And yet he accuses COPEC of ignorance. I couldn't help but laugh throughout the entire press conference as I followed your network this afternoon.
Yeah, so the credibility of your organization was okay. Yeah, the credibility of your organization was also attacked. What do you have to say about that?
Indeed, if persons like this attack COPEC, it is to be understood. The same way when the contaminated issue came up, we were insulted and called names. Okay. In the end, they were selling the product. If we hadn't raised the alarm, Ghanaians would have had to buy and be fed with contaminated products from a strategic, facility like that. It tells you the kind of mindset people out there today are managing BOST with. I am not surprised that they end up leaving so much of a debt hanging around our necks as individuals within the country. When they cause these losses, avoidable losses, and they pile up as a debt, they will go home and enjoy the booty with their family. The truck driver, taxi driver is asked to pay for it. He is now telling COPEC to go and look at fuel pricing. If BOST was working efficiently, fuel prices could be sustained or maintained in this country. Unfortunately, fuel prices are running all of us. And this is what they could come up. Emmanuel, I'm quite sorry, but this doesn't look good enough, and I'm sure that the ministry or the oversight supervising agency will be taking note of some of these characters. You can't leave your strategic reserve in the hands of such characters who don't even understand what they are discussing.
That's interesting. So have you appealed?
Know that there are enzymes that could preserve fuel. He doesn't know.
Have you appealed to the NPA with this matter?
In fact, we have not accused the NPA. We only raised issues. One, the crude has been sold. It was sold to the blind side of the holder, which is Tor. The crude was sold also for a discount at the time that prices are going up, that they can refute. The crude was sold to a company, BB Energy, that is not licensed. That again, they can't refute. He is telling us to go to it. Can you imagine this? You transacted the business. You don't have answers to the legitimate questions clients are asking, and all you could do is to insult integrity. I don't think Albert Mante has any.
Is BB Energy firm licensed elsewhere apart from Ghana?
You could be an international oil trader. But when you are dealing products in tank in Ghana, you would need to be registered by the NPA.
And you have evidence that it is not registered by the NPA? It is
not registered. And I repeat, it is not registered anywhere in our laws.
Okay.
And so at this point, the superior argument would be that maybe the product was sold to Tor and BB Energy Finance. But if you look at the arrangement or agreement they have, they sold to BB Energy for a discount. At the time prices are going up on the world market, Tor Bosch was rather selling at a discount. That is ridiculous, to say the least.
Okay.
Nobody would agree to that. Some people made efforts to buy it earlier. They were given a premium quotation. Premium, a secured product in tank. You treat it as a distressed cargo. No wonder they are in the sort of shape they are in with their current finances at bottom. If you look at the debt they are trying up there, they will count the debt and leave and ask all of us to go and pay for it.
All right, so beyond
our eye on the manual.
So beyond this reaction, what next, finally, before you go?
Emmanuel, I can assure you, we will do our own press conference tomorrow.
All right.
We will send petitions across to the investigative agencies tomorrow to get down there, ask the relevant topics, ask them what information food with the minors when prices blast. Unfortunately, this is the sort of people-leading boss, and they can call people's integrity into question.
All
they
right.
should pile up the debt and leave. The truck driver will go and pay for it. Sadly.
All right, that'll be it for now. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. That was Executive Secretary of COPEG, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, Duncan Amwa. He's been counter-reacting to the defense of the bulk storage and transportation, the oil storage and transportation company, which held a press conference this afternoon in Accra to address some of the earlier concerns raised against it by COPEG. Away from that, Cocoa Board has indicated it may struggle to pay back some $1.3 billion it took for cocoa bean purchases this year. Bloomberg News quoted the chief executive of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahi Edu, as saying that this may be influenced by fears of not meeting production target for the year. It is not clear how this may influence calls to reduce bonuses paid to cocoa farmers and the cost of securing fresh loans. But we've been speaking with Fifi Boafo, who is a manager at the office of the CEO of Cocoa Board, and he's been clarifying the piece of information put out there by Bloomberg. Let's get to hear what he says.
We'll be able to repay. If you recollect, last year we were even able to pay a month before the stipulated period we're supposed to repay the facility. And from all indication and from data available from cocoa we've taken delivery of at this point in time, there is no indication to suggest whatsoever that we will not be able to repay the facility. So sure, we are on course and we are on target.
Now, moving away from the repayment itself, what about the production target? Are we able to meet the target? What is the plan?
You know, we projected to produce 850,000 metric tons this year. What has happened generally is that cocoa production worldwide is believed to be on a decline this year. But that's notwithstanding, we do not have a difficulty meeting our set target. So yes, there might be reason for people to be suspicious of what is happening. For example, the rains were not on time as expected and other reasons. But if you also realize there have been a number of interventions aimed at ensuring that we are able to boost our production. So that is certainly something that will cushion if any shortfall. So meeting our target is not a problem.
So if I may ask, how much have you paid so far out of it?
No, you see, what happens is that we start paying from February. And February, we just started March. So that's exactly what we've done. And we are on target. We are on point to deliver just as we've contracted to do.
Now, the Institute of Fiscal Studies is warning that the country's rising public debt is a threat to fiscal stability. According to the Executive Director of the IFS, Professor Newman Kusi, government must take immediate steps to control the debt ratio, or Ghana might fall into another debt distress trap. He made the revelation as a roundtable discussion in Accra on the implications of the public debt to the country's economy.
Public expenditures in the context of persistently weak revenue performance has undermined Ghana's fiscal and debt sustainability in recent years. As the country's fiscal risk remained high, credible fiscal consolidation was required to reverse the unfavorable debt dynamics and to reduce domestic refinancing risk. The fiscal management strategy of the new government that came into office in January 2017 aims at restoring fiscal discipline, reversing the fiscal deterioration it inherited, and putting the public debt on a downward and sustainable path. Unfortunately, it does not appear that the government is winning the debt stability war, as total public debt continues to grow with serious implications for the economy.
And just before we go, the Ashanti region is to benefit from a huge electricity distribution facelift as the power distributor marks 50 years of service. Now, the electricity company has announced it is beefing up its distribution in Kumasi with 14,000 electric poles, over 200 transformers, and a number of cables to replace old ones. Now, Managing Director of the company, Engineer Samuel Boachapia, has been assuring staff that there will be no layoffs in its impending takeover of the company. And on that note, we wrap up this afternoon's edition of The Marketplace. Many thanks for joining me today. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. We have listened again, same time tomorrow. Have a good afternoon.